Welcome to Live the Mod Life, where we celebrate women and cool men too who are breaking free from the status quo and living life on their own terms. Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Abernathy, and together we're going to explore stories of transformation, resilience, and empowerment. Plus, each month, I'm going to bring you Get Ready for Mod News. This is insights and trends to inspire your life's journey. So let's rise above the expectations, unlock our true potential together, and remember, it's not midlife, it's mod life. And if you're not living your mod life yet, you will be on your way after listening to this episode. Let's go. Okay. Hey, everyone. This is Jennifer with Live the Mod Life. And for this particular episode for our podcast, I thought I'd share a recording of one of our Mod Life events because this was very popular. You're going to meet Tonya Harmon. Tonya Harmon is a friend of mine who lived here in Northern Virginia in the beautiful countryside out near Paris, Virginia. Yes, there is a Paris in Virginia, and it's very pretty. She and her husband made the leap to Mexico, to the beautiful city of San Miguel. And you talk about a change, right? In your late 50s, picking up and moving there while your kids are, I believe both of her adult children live here in the States. But nonetheless, she shares her thinking about why they did it. And she also shares with us a great questionnaire and method that you can ask yourself when trying to decide where you want to live within your midlife and beyond time period. So I think you'll enjoy it. You'll also hear some Q&A from some of our participants who listened in and joined us from around the world. And I just thought this would be a great one to share because a lot of people are asking about San Miguel and thinking about that as a possible place to not only retire, but rewire as Tonya did. Okay, enjoy this podcast.
So for the first few years, the sunsets were incredible. We enjoyed the wide open views, the mountain scenes. But I think after about 6 years and a pandemic, when that's all you see, you don't see other people. There's nobody strolling by. It got very lonesome and isolating. And so both my husband and I quit our jobs unexpectedly and suddenly when we both said we can't do this anymore in the middle of the pandemic, and continued to live out in the country for a few more months. But then on a vacation to Cabo, we both got COVID on the way down, and we got kicked out of our timeshares. We rented a beautiful house on the ocean, and we were sitting there with our cervezas in the pool and wondering, now what do we do? And we were starting to feel better by then. And my husband said, let's do it. And I said, do what? And he said, let's sell the house and move to Mexico or move somewhere.
Because was he feeling the same way in that he was a little bit bored with where you were in Virginia?
He had decided to become a special ed teacher in the middle of the pandemic. And so for those of you who are teaching or had kids in the school system, you know that it went from online to in-person to a hybrid approach. And it was a nightmare, both for the kids and for the teachers. Yeah. So after 2 years or so of that, he threw in the towel as well. So I'm the one that was the Francophile. I have been dragging him, although he happily went with me to France every year for the 20 years. And my dream was to retire in France. However, I grew up in Montreal. I speak French. He doesn't speak any French. So after years of trying to convince him to sell the farm, move to Europe, he acquiesced and he agreed to move to Mexico. So
now, how did you had a special formula that you guys put together, and I want to dive right into that because
that's right,
one of the things that we wanted to share. So how did you guys come up with
where?
Yeah,
that's a good question. So what I had been trying to figure out for myself, and then I wanted him to get onto the same page, was now what? We've suddenly retired. What are we going to do next? And what kind of life do we want to live? So I put together a spreadsheet, and across the top of the spreadsheet were about 5 columns of the different places in the world that I thought I wanted to live in, France being one of them, San Miguel de Allende being another one. And I think we had Asheville, North Carolina on there. So they weren't all overseas. And along the left-hand column, I had written down 5 or 6 things that I thought every day when I wake up, this is the kind of life I want to live. So I had listed things like, I want sunshine most days. I want to live in a place where there are flowering vines, bougainvillea. And I had a very rich image of the kind of place I wanted to live in. I
Mhm.
wanted something to be very rich culturally. So lots of things to do and a way to meet a lot of people. Both of us love to meet people. So those were some of the things that I thought were important. I asked him to do the same exercise. We both agreed on the columns across the top where we were considering moving. And then we compiled a list of the things that we thought we needed to be able to do every day to have this retired life. You know, another one, a realistic one, was living within our budget.
Yeah.
So
Actually, I
then
like that. You don't think about, we think about where we want to live, but we don't think about what kind of things do we want to be able to do on
right,
or have the option to do on a daily basis,
right,
right?
right.
What kind of weather do we want? What kind of scenery do we want to have? What kind of socialization do we want to have? What kind of food do we
That's
want
right.
to have
Food
access?
was important to me too.
Yeah, because I just
And
met someone, not to cut you off, but I just met someone that was looking, she's a vegetarian. And she came here, she was actually a younger college student, but she came here and she's like, there's so many vegetarian places in Washington, DC. She said, when I go back to Wisconsin, there aren't a lot of vegetarian
that's
places.
right.
And so she said, I need to start thinking about that when I decide where I'm going to live. So anyway,
That's
I
right.
digress, but
That's right. You want to have a culture of food that meets your um, desires of what you want to eat as well. So individually, we filled out the spreadsheet and we ranked our responses from 1 to 5. So for example, having a place where there's lots of a variety of restaurants and a food scene for foodies, that would be that would score a 5 for me because it had the highest ranking. 5. So the higher the number, the more important it was to me. So we both did that and then we scored the columns and it was quite evident immediately that Mexico and specifically San Miguel popped to the top, which surprised us both a bit that we were on the same page and that it met all of our basic needs or requirements for retirement.
what, and for those that don't know, can you say the full name of the town?
San Miguel de Allende.
The Allende, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, what were some of the other places that were on the list between the two of you?
Provence had been one. I think the Dordogne region of France, more southwest France, near Bordeaux,
Mm-hmm.
and Asheville, North Carolina, I told you. Staying in Virginia, I think was an option. Those are probably the 5 that we
Okay,
came up with. And
okay.
funny enough, the only place we hadn't been was San Miguel.
Okay, now that was gonna be my next question. Would you've had to visit all these places first? No, San Miguel you hadn't visited.
Right. We'd been everywhere else.
Mhm.
San Miguel had been on my radar for decades because in Canada, there was a famous skater who retired to San Miguel back in the 90s. And I had followed his career his whole life. He was from the same hometown I was in Montreal.
Hmm.
So I had always wanted to come to visit here. I'd read lots of Canadian magazine articles interviewing him about here. So it intrigued me. And for several years in a row, since probably 2015, San Miguel had been winning the top place to retire or the top destination for foodies, which it just won this past week, by the way.
Oh my God.
So top place in Mexico to eat out or something like that. So we then hopped on a plane a few weeks later and decided we better fly here before we upend our lives and just make sure that it's something that feels right. So we flew in on a Saturday afternoon. We lined up 4 houses to see. Didn't really do a tour of the town or anything. Went and sat in a cafe for a couple of hours. Went out for dinner that night and came home the next day. And called our daughter, who was house sitting for us in Virginia, and we told her, put the house on the market. And so she staged the house, got all the repairs done in record time. In 3 weeks, it was on the market 3 weeks later, and it sold in a day. So by then we had to move quickly, and we came back to San Miguel and we looked at more houses, but we ended up buying one of the houses we saw on the first day. So it was a leap of faith. We didn't know anybody here. Van is, I think, probably the first person I met here.
I love it. I love it.
Through you.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I did a little matchmaking with
Right.
Tonya and Van. No, this is great. Okay, so again, yeah, it takes a little courage. It takes a little, okay, I'm gonna take a risk. And you guys, that's also about living the mod life. Why the hell not? Let's have some courage. Let's take some risk. It's scary, but you know what? Like I always say, this is it. Let's do it. And if anything, it doesn't work out, you can always come back.
That's right.
Always come back. Always come back. So okay, so you get down there and you get this beautiful home. I wish we could show pictures, but you've got this beautiful home. People can see a lot of it on your social media. So take a look at it. It literally is something out of, I feel, Architectural Digest. It's just stunning.
It's very French feeling, which satisfied my Francophone style.
Yeah, yes. And I want everyone in the chat, when you're done, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you want to do a mod trip down to Mexico, to San Miguel? We'll visit Tonya, we'll have this experience, and we're going to visit Mary Vanderwill and her studio and then some. But anyway, so you get down there, you get this home and you get settled in. Tell us about things like, well, first of all, it matched what you were visually, right? How many days of sunshine?
335 days of sunshine, I think.
Flowers?
Flowers everywhere. Our garden is full of flowers, and the weather. What I really love and what surprised me was we're in the mountains. We're about 3.5 hours north of Mexico City. So you get the cool mountain evenings and mornings, just like in Colorado. And then you have a beautiful, warm, sunny day. So we get both ends of the weather spectrum.
That's lovely. Okay, social.
The social life was something that we couldn't have anticipated. And it's probably been the biggest surprise and most fulfilling for us, because it's so easy to meet people here. We're all in the same boat. And frankly, it's not just expats that we're meeting. We're meeting, I would say half the people in our neighborhood are Mexican. So you're meeting people who have chosen to be here for the most part. I have made a lot of friends who are natives to San Miguel. That's a smaller group, but they are here. And many of the people.
I'm sorry, how many expats are there?
There are about, at the height of the season, which would be now, 18,000 out of 175,000 people in the city.
Okay.
So it's not 10%. You can be as insular as you want to. If you only wanted to talk English, you can do that. There are lots of activities. You don't have to speak Spanish here. There are people who will only speak Spanish or can only speak it, but there's a big enough population where you can find what you want to do, whether it's swimming or joining club, library, whatever. There's lots of opportunities for multiple languages. I also love the international aspect of it. There are people here from Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, France, England, and then Canada and the US. So I love meeting people from all over the world.
I mean, between you and Mary Vanderwill, when I hear you guys talking about it, the people that you're meeting are just so interesting. I mean, we're talking about people that have these incredible businesses and or they're incredible artists or they're jewelry makers or they're photographers or they're
They're
art
writers, they're famous writers.
writers. Yeah, writers,
They are,
artists.
yeah, they're movie producers or probably directors. Lots of documentary filmmakers here. Just really, really creative and interesting people. Totally different than the technology world I lived in for 30 some years in the US.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so let's talk about your love of food. Obviously, you had this love for baking, love for cooking, love for experimenting, with dishes and hosting a lot of parties and dinner parties at your home. You started doing that down there.
I started having dinner parties. I love to cook, and being away from our kids now, it's no fun cooking just for two people. So and to meet people, we would just meet people. Literally, we would meet people in an art gallery and invite them for dinner. Or at one point over the course of 2 days, we met 8 different people who were all Iranian, didn't know each other. So we decided to have a Persian feast, and we invited them all and they got to meet each other. I think about 30 people ended up coming. We had a big feast. And so I'm always doing things like that. Van knows that.
It's very social down there. It's very,
Very social.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are over 500 restaurants there, and they're opening new ones all the time. So it's you'll never run out of something to eat or a place to go. And but it's funny, I have never ordered Uber Eats or anything. I'd never ordered anything. My kids were here for Christmas a year ago. Within an hour of them arriving, they were ordering Uber Eats. I didn't even know you could get it here.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's, and I want to get into the food, but let's tackle that for those that have children. Your mindset of, obviously your children are in the States, you're moving to Mexico. What was your mindset around that?
Well, when Nick and I, my husband, when we first met in Greece backpacking back in 1984, we were both out exploring the world. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to see the world. And so when we finally re-met again several years later, we connected again, got married. He was in the Navy. We were going to see the world through the Navy. And we ended up getting stationed in Florida and then ultimately Virginia for over almost 35 years. And so when we were raising our kids, we never got to see the world. Although I traveled extensively for work and for pleasure, I was really antsy to live in another country. I'd grown up in Canada, so I had lived in 2 countries, but I really wanted to live out of my comfort zone. I love being out. I love being uncomfortable and meeting new people, and all my creative juices start flowing when I'm in a new environment. And you can tell when I post things on Instagram that I'm inspired by something. So our youngest daughter, who staged the house, she was graduating from university May 13th. May 14th is the day that we moved down here. And all of our kids pretty much launched right out of university and have all been independent living. They're all married now or about to be. And they didn't need us. And I just wanted freedom. I didn't want to look after anybody anymore. And I'd run my own business for decades. And I was tired of having all of that responsibility and not just getting to see, to explore.
Yeah.
So that's what motivated us to come here. Our kids were fine with it. They all love to travel too.
That's great.
So,
okay, so let's bring in the food. So you were having dinner parties and you're inviting people over, but yet you're finding that was that could be a lot of work.
a lot of work, but I decided that it would be fun to maybe informally teach some cooking classes.
Mhm.
And so I started just with a small circle of friends, and the circle kept widening, and I wasn't charging hardly any money, probably not even enough to pay for the food and drinks. But I decided at a certain point that maybe I've got something here. But it wasn't until I went to a wine and cheese festival last spring and bought hundreds of dollars worth of cheese that I brought it back here, and I put something out on a Facebook group to a bunch of strangers, and I said, I've been studying Mexican cheese. I'd been studying European cheese for decades. And I've discovered all this amazing cheese and the history of cheese in Mexico. Would anyone like to come over and try some? And I immediately had well over 100 people responding. And that was the beginning of my cheese classes. So that's now what I'm known for. And people are reaching out to me almost every day. I've been asked, I'm flying to Cabo in 2 months to do a cheese class just for a day.
This is incredible. I mean, because
There's
you're
some
finding,
lining up in Virginia now too. Hey,
okay, we're gonna have to, we'll definitely be doing something with
yeah,
not. I know. So you took your liver cheese and you're telling people not only the history of these cheeses, but maybe stories behind the cheeses, and you're making it an experience. And your
right.
husband's part is he serves a wine maybe that goes with the cheese, right?
We're focused here in Mexico on Mexican artisan cheese. And he focuses on small batch Mexican wines. And we pair them together, at least types of cheese to wine or even to mezcal.
Mhm.
And I serve at least a dozen different cheeses, all made within a couple of hours of here. And what I've discovered that the culture of cheese is not the same as it is in the US or in France. People still love cheese, but they don't tell the stories about the cheesemakers and why did this cheese get invented and what awards has it won, and what can you do with the cheese besides slice it? So I cover everything beyond just the Mexican cheese. How do you serve cheese properly, the French way? How do you cut it? What can you pair it with food wise, cooking with it, the etiquette of cheese, eating, how to store it.
Okay, let's stop right there. If you would be interested in a night like this, can you type yes in the comments? Or C for Mexican for Spanish. If this is, I'm getting hungry. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm getting hungry. And yeah, CC, sign me up for this class. But yeah, let me know in the chats if this sounds interesting to you guys. Okay, we're getting some yeses that are coming in. Okay, and let me back up here. When you were doing that spreadsheet and trying to think of where do we want to live, we're ready to go someplace else. Was this in the plan? No, right?
No,
No.
I knew that I wanted to do something with food.
Yeah.
I didn't want to run a restaurant. I really didn't know what I would do. I had been doing tours to Europe
Mhm.
sporadically over the last 10 or more years. And so I thought maybe I would just expand to here in Mexico. So I kind of stumbled upon cheese. I had taught cheese classes before. I don't know why I never put two and two together. I guess because when we moved here 2 years ago, I was disappointed in the quality of cheese here. I didn't know where to look. The normal ways that you would research about cheese don't exist here. The marketing approaches are different here. So
Mhm.
it's more ingenuity or a more creative approach to learning about the culture of cheese here. And I'm blown away by it, but you wouldn't know that it even existed here, but the way
Yeah.
that they.
Well, it sounds like you're really putting a spotlight on it there locally. And that's why word's getting out. And you have, I mean, the last time I spoke to you, you said
Well,
you're,
nobody else is offering anything like that.
yeah, yeah. So you're filling in a gap and a
We
need.
have a, yeah.
And, you're now starting to get calls from places around the world, basically, to come do this. This is really, 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 really cool, Tonya. And tell me the name. We're going by name.
I'm calling myself the Empress of Cheese because I wanted to focus on, well, in my cooking classes and even in the style of cheese, my first love is French cheese and French cooking. And when I started studying the history of Mexico, I was pleasantly surprised to find out that France had played a big part of the history of this country. They had, yes, my husband calls me the cheese whiz. So the comment. Um, I learned that France had invaded Mexico 3 times and actually put in an emperor, Maximilian and Carlota, to as the emperor and empress of Mexico from the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and she was French. So Carlota brought a lot of the French food and fashion and cultural ideas, architecture influences to this country, even though they were only in place for 3 brief years. So I just played on that Empress theme.
Very cool. I love it. Now you're going to have a Facebook, or do you have a Facebook page now, Empress of Cheese, that people can follow, or is there yet?
Soon coming.
Okay. Okay. We'll let everyone know in our mod letter when everything's lined up. Okay, so be sure to get that at Mod.Life. I'm going to, well, and we're going to open it up to questions here, and but I guess what would your thoughts be to everyone listening here? We've got people who are considering a move to Spain, perhaps. I myself, obviously, am thinking about France at some point. What advice would you give, or words of wisdom would you give all of us listening?
Well, for me, definitely to go through that exercise of thinking long and hard of what do you envision your life to look like once you get to whatever the place is. We thought about Portugal too, actually, and Spain.
Okay.
And I think Mexico makes it very easy to move here. So there are lots of hoops to jump through to get to France, for example. They've just changed the language requirements recently.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
Yeah. So, and maybe you can fulfill your French desires by going part-time instead of moving full-time.
Probably.
So for me, I really wanted to be jumping into a new culture. I didn't want to just sit on a beach and watch the ocean. I wanted to actually experience a really different way of life. And the only way that you can really kind of tease that out of you is to write down what you think is important to you. And then kind of be open to what happens next when you get there. For me, it's important to have a friendship base and to be able to meet people. And I cannot tell you how I've met more people in the last 2 years than I've met in my entire life combined of all the years.
Now that's a quote. That's a quote. Because everything, and I'm sure everyone here is seeing this too. One of the things that we all need as we age is socialization. And they're finding that that's part of the reason why a lot of people are getting certain forms of dementia, because as they get older, they're not getting enough socialization. They're not having enough conversations. They're not rewiring. You rewired some of your neurons because you're in this brand new culture, right? And you're, like I said, you're uncomfortable, which is so good for our brains. You're learning, you're navigating, you're thinking, you're exploring. And everything that I'm reading right now this is a must. I mean, you don't have to go to Mexico, but what I'm saying is we need to keep learning, but socialization is so important. So that is a big statement that you said you've met more people, made more friends in the past. You've been there 2 years?
2 years. And, if you look at the population in the expat community, at least, it probably is 10 women to 1 man here. So people aren't moving here to find a partner. Maybe men are, but they're creating a community of like-minded people.
Yeah.
So I can't say highly enough of how there are many pockets of communities, many communities that both Nick and I overlap or know people, and it's a joy.
Yeah, that is so terrific. We are going to open it up for questions. So if you want to turn on your camera and ask a question, please do so. If not, you can type something into the chat and we can read it out loud as well. So please ask away because we've got someone who's been there and done that just in the past 2 years. Okay. Hi, Sarah. Oops, we'll turn off your mute or unmute you here. There you
Yes,
go.
hi. Sorry. I have my keyboard doesn't work well, so I have a typo in my last name. But
Okay.
anyway, I was just wondering, what is the healthcare access? Do you have
Oh,
a
yeah.
private health insurance through United States or Mexican, or how is that working out? Because as we get older, unfortunately, health will be an issue.
Yeah. We have done kind of a hybrid thing. We have our health insurance through the state of Florida, where we declared our residence before we moved here. And I bought the lowest possible plan where we have a huge deductible, and so we'll never, unless there's something catastrophic, we're probably not going to use that plan, but that's our kind of our safety net. And then for the appointments, buying our medications, I had to go to the doctor the other day for COVID. I'm going for a mammogram in a couple of days. We pay out of pocket for all of those. I even had unexpected surgery last summer and negotiated on the operating table with the hospital for a fixed price for 5 days in the hospital. And even then, it didn't touch our deductible. So the doctor's visits, it was an hour-long visit, was $40. And my lab work, I went in yesterday morning on a Sunday morning to get all my lab work done. That was $75. The out-of-pocket cost for me in Virginia would have been over 200.
Oh, yeah.
And no, we don't speak any Spanish. So there are doctors here who speak English. The surgeons that I had last year were amazing. The hospital was all marble. It was like a hotel.
I hear the
had
hospitals are like hotels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful room. I had a private room. They would bring a menu in 3 times a day and ask what I would like to eat. It was amazing.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah, for your question.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll go to Jana, and then we'll go to Bernice has a question. So Jana, please welcome, and let me unmute you. You need to unmute your computer.
Hi everybody. I'm Zhana Ishanova, and I've been I've been training Jennifer probably for 14 years to pronounce my name, so don't try to pronounce it, just join the club. Yes, questions. So I had a big question. Until I've heard that you have very creative people there living around. And my question was about the crime. So probably I shouldn't ask it, or I should. What about crime?
No, that's a common thing I see online. I don't feel fearful here at all. We walk a lot everywhere. We drive around here. I think if I was to drive to an unknown place several hours away, I might plan my trip to only go during the day. I would plan it to go on the major highways, that kind of thing. School shootings are unheard of here. Random violence, like a murder of a stranger, is also pretty rare. Where you will see high crime is around cartels who are fighting other cartels, and they're buying and selling drugs or something related to that. So the crime exists, but I'm not doing things that would generate a criminal to want to kill me. In our neighborhood, we're in a gated community. We have security guards And our neighbors all know each other and look out for each other.
Oh, wonderful.
So it's there's petty crime, pickpockets, but that's everywhere.
That's everywhere.
Really.
Yeah. I
Jennifer,
would
thank
say
you.
I've never seen anyone walking around with a gun like I did all the time in Virginia in the grocery store, for example.
Wow,
Yeah.
thank you. So Jennifer, why won't we go for a workshop there?
Yes, we'll be doing this. Yes.
Okay, at least we'll have some good cheese.
And we'll have some good wine and cheese. Yes.
Right.
Thank you for your question. I've got another question here. Bernice was asking about the cost of living. Hi, Bernice.
Hi.
Sorry,
Where are you calling it? Where are you calling in from?
from Clarksburg, Maryland.
Okay.
One of the reasons we picked here, San Miguel, and picked Mexico in general was because it was a more affordable place to live than in Virginia.
Mhm.
And we wanted to maintain our lifestyle and not have to be paying so much in property taxes and maintaining the house, for example. So the cost of living is definitely less expensive here compared to where we were living in Northern Virginia. And for example, we have a maid every day, 4 hours a day, and a gardener 3 days a week. All of our utilities, things like the internet. We don't have any heating or air conditioning, so we don't have those expenses. We have a property manager who pays all our bills for us. And
Oh, I
so
love
for
it.
all of that, I think we're paying $1,500 a month.
For all those people combined. Wow.
And that also includes our property tax and our gated community HOA fee.
Wow. Wow. That's
So
Good.
in terms of food, you can pay a lot and go to a high-end restaurant similar to what you'd pay, probably not as expensive as in DC at some of the places I've seen, but you could spend over $100 a person if you wanted to, but those tend to be the touristy places. Some of my favorite restaurants, lunch is $10, and it's a beautifully plated dish. So there's a huge wide range of restaurants and prices. But I tend to buy my groceries and cook for ourselves most of the time. I don't think about the budget that much, and we spend about 100 to 150 a week if I'm not thinking about it, if I just buy what I want to buy. But I have done a little exercise for myself. If I was to go down the road to the little tiendas or to the Tuesday morning market where they sell all the fruits and vegetables, I can spend under $30 for the whole week for everything.
wow. You live really well down there with a really decent low budget.
Yeah,
Mhm.
lots of cafes. You can sit and have a coffee for a couple dollars. But we do have Starbucks if you want that.
That's wonderful.
Nice.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
Was it hard to get a residency there?
Well, every year in January, they increase the requirements. So the financial requirements have gone up probably 40% since we moved here 2 years ago.
Oh,
And
wow.
they do it on a few different ways. So the most typical way is to get a temporary residence first. You can go on the Mexico website and they tell you what how much money you have to have in the bank. I want to say it's like $80,000 or something like that you have to prove you've had it in your bank account for a year. Or you have to prove that you have so much money every month, like $4,000 a month or something.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
those are just examples. The numbers have changed a bit now, but And then once you have your temporary residency for 4 years, you automatically qualify for permanent residency.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like the rules are changing in all the countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit challenging to get in.
One of the things here that impressed me as well, if you become infirm or you have Alzheimer's or you're very old and you need someone to care for you, you can get in-home care very inexpensively compared to the US. And there are some really good senior living facilities here too that are a fraction of the cost to the US.
I'm glad you brought that up because I don't know if it was you, Tonya, or someone else was telling me what a lot of people do is they move down there and let's say in their 60s or 70s, they bring on perhaps a couple that's going to help them as a house manager around the house, things like that. But the deal is, as we get older, you guys are going to help take care of us, right?
Yeah.
So you
And
pay
you might
that
give them
couple.
room and board.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
give them room and board, they stay there. But it is a fraction of what it is here in the United States. I mean, a fraction. And so I think that's something we're going to see. I don't know if you heard, Tonya, but here in the States, Wendy Williams, the TV host in her 50s has come down with dementia. Same thing that Bruce Willis has. We're going to see more and more people coming down with this. And so people are starting to think about, where can I go? Where can I be in case this happens to me?
right. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So no, so that's a great point. So someone was asking here, so everyone speaks English in stores and restaurants.
Not everybody. I mean, the touristy places, they definitely speak English. Everywhere I go, I get by. I don't speak Spanish very well. I'm picking up words, and our goal is to study and improve our Spanish this year. What I have seen on Facebook groups a lot this past 2 months is Spanish people wanting to meet English people so they can practice English and then help you with your Spanish.
Okay.
But you don't need to speak Spanish to live here. I think they would like it if you did, obviously.
Yeah. But at least if you know the basics, the hola, the gracias, the sí, no,
Right.
all that. Okay.
Right.
Now that's really cool. And also, yeah, what a neat thing to be able to learn Spanish, once you're living there.
Yeah.
Again, a fraction of the cost of what it is here. This is
Right.
terrific. Anyone else have any other questions? Let's see, we've got another one. Someone was asking, where are you from in Canada, and are you still a Canadian citizen?
I'm still a Canadian and I'm still an American, so I'm a dual citizen. And we're temporary residents here in Mexico, hoping to go permanent in a couple of years. And, excuse me, I grew up in the suburbs of Montreal and also Toronto. We moved back and forth between the two while I was growing up.
And was Canada on your list at all?
No, too cold.
Too cold, yeah.
I mean, and it's a very expensive place to live. You do get comprehensive health care or health coverage. The people are very nice. The housing, the average price of a house in Toronto right now is $2 million. So
Wow. How do
it's
people afford to live
very,
there?
very, very expensive place to live. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. Sue, I'm not sure your question. What about Ryan Reynolds?
He grew up 20 minutes from me, but I
Oh,
didn't know.
you did? Oh, okay. I didn't realize he was Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Well, no, this is great. Did anyone that tuned into this evening, I want to make sure you've gotten all of your questions answered because I really value your time. And I want to bring these people to you to really help you with either your visualizing, your fantasizing, your thinking about, your future. And just really to see possibilities because Tonya did not really have in this plan that eventually she saw herself as this Empress of Cheese and, creating this international, I
Empress of
say, I'm
Cheese.
gonna walk into Williams-Sonoma one day. I'm gonna see her book, Empress of Cheese, sitting in Williams-Sonoma one day. I know it. And so the possibilities that can open up for you, I feel, are amazing. If we stay open, have a bit of courage, take a little bit of risk in trying new different things. And it doesn't mean that we have to move there. We could go and live, like I'm looking at just trying France out for a month next year, because I know that it's very different, when you're not on vacation necessarily, when you're staying a little bit longer. So I'm going to check it out.
Yeah,
Right. And you never know what type of surprises are going to come your way.
that's right.
We will do one last call here for questions. And again, maybe in the chat, Tonya, if you want to put any information down about how people could reach you or
Okay,
follow you, that would be really great.
I will do that.
Okay. And then Van, if you want to pop on, I don't know if you're still with us, Mary Vanderweel, who's also down in San Miguel, can pop on up. Here she comes. Yep. It will turn on your volume or your and when she's, whoops, we can't hear you yet. We'll have
I
you-
know. Here
there
I
we
am.
go. Okay. Hello.
Hi, Jennifer. Hi, everyone. Hi, Tonya. My neighbor.
Okay.
That was great, Tonya. I always love hearing your stories. Really, always amazing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Deborah Hall says she's planning on visiting Mexico, visiting Merida, Mexico in June. Merida.
In June,
In June.
super,
Mhm.
super hot.
Super hot. So prepare for the hot, Deborah. How far is that from where you are?
I think it's like a 10-hour drive. It's on the Yucatan Peninsula. I hear January is the best month to go.
Well, thank you so much for letting me know. I'll have to tell my girlfriend.
Yeah, it's very, very sweaty there.
Oh gosh, yuck. Oh, thank you. This was awesome.
But it is
Oh, okay, I'm
beautiful.
glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We got another note from Bernice. Oh, wait, real quick, Deborah, where are you dialing in from?
Oh, Jersey.
Oh, nice.
Jersey, Union
Hello.
City. Yeah.
Oh, Jersey. Be sure to get on our at Mod.Life. Get on
Definitely.
our list because I really want you back. You seem like a Mod.Life person.
I think so.
Mary Vanderweel is another one that left Brooklyn, New York, and moved down to San Miguel, and that's her studio. And you can follow Mary Vanderweel at Blackline Crazy and see all the things that she's doing. And there she is in her studio as well. I wanted to go back and read, thank you, Deborah. I wanted to go back and read, someone had put a post on here about what they were envisioning for their retirement. I'm just scrolling back 1 second. Vivian said, when you were talking about the exercise, about writing down, really imagining the type of life you want to have. She said, I want to live a life filled with abundance and wonder and courage, which means taking new chances and trying new things. And there, I love the word wonder.
Yes. Yeah. And I think some of that is going someplace you've never been and jumping in with both feet. Do your homework, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It also takes probably 6 months to a year till you feel like you belong. And but if you have a sense of wonder, then it's so much fun to meet new people and to explore the area. Every day there's something new to do here.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I hear from both. So everyone, these two women who are friends of mine, when I talk to them, I'm right outside of Washington, D.C., which again, there's a lot of things going on here. Don't get me wrong. However, it's not as easy to get together with people, right? Because they got to drive on the Beltway or they got to drive through Washington, D.C., or people are tired. I talk to these two, they're doing things every night, it seems. It's, things are going on. They can walk down the street, they can go here, they can go there. It's pretty cool. And it's, again, it's that social aspect that I think is so important as we age.
Yeah.
You guys are doing it, and you're both very inspiring to the people that are watching. So just know that.
Yay, yay. We're all inspiring. Everybody's inspiring.
Everyone has a story. You don't have to,
Yes,
you don't have to
absolutely.
pick up and move to Mexico, but this isn't an option. This is another way of living the mod life. So this is very cool. So I want to thank you both. Any parting thoughts, Tonya? Any parting
No,
thoughts?
you only have one life to live. You know,
Yeah.
go live it.
Yeah. And congratulations to you. I know you have a new grandson.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. And you're also planning a wedding for your daughter who's
Yeah, we
getting-
have a wedding in June and our grandson's coming to visit us with his parents
Oh.
next month.
Oh, that's fun. That's really
Yeah.
fun. Well, congratulations.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. And again, be sure to follow Tonya Harmon and also Ray Vanderwill. We got her on the call as well. And we will see all of you next time. I'm just looking in the messages to see if make sure I'm not missing anything. And if you want that trip, put something in the chat. It'd be great. We're going to plan it. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Bye, Tonya. Thanks so much and feel better.
Thank you very much. It was
Okay.
very nice to meet everyone.
Yes.
Thanks,
everyone for
Jennifer.
listening. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Ciao.
Adios. Adios.
Ciao.
I hope you enjoyed listening into one of our Mod.Life web events. And again, this is what we're doing, trying to inspire people with possibility thinking and exposing all of our listeners and our Mod.Life community to new ways that you can not only retire, but really rewire or refire your life. Just an update, Tonya Harmon now has a new brand for herself, and it's the Empress of Cheese. And so you can find her at empressofcheese.com. And Tonya really is a gourmet cook, but she's been studying the art of cheese making for the past, 15, 16 years. And she has incredible events down in Mexico, but she also does them around the world. So please follow Tonya. And I know one day she's going to have an incredible cookbook, and who knows, we might even see her on on her TV screens one day soon. I wouldn't be surprised. Again, so much excitement can be ahead in our next chapters in life. I hope this was inspiring for you, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Thank you for joining us on this episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And as you continue your journey, may you be guided by the power of possibility and the courage to create the life you truly desire, no matter what your age. Welcome to our community of Mod Women, where every day is a chance to dream bigger, live fuller, and thrive in all aspects of life. This is Jennifer Abernathy signing off. Peace, love, and all things Mod, and I'll see you next time.